The secure DNA of digital, what does it mean to me? It is, data is the new value system for companies. And so as we digitalize our businesses around the world, we need to be able to protect that. And the security DNA is, I think, as a security industry and a security community, it is our job to help come up with new strategies, new roadmaps to help our customers protect that data, right? Data is now gold, right? And that's why the biggest companies are the ones that have the most data. So with the threats of people stealing that data, I think the DNA of companies is we need to be very, very security conscious and make sure that we're protecting the data of our customers that we have. I think that education and awareness is very, very important. Many breaches is still surprisingly from techniques that have been around for a long time, like phishing, right? And many companies, employees still click on that email or that link, which allows the bad guys to download something into the network, and then they can slowly move into the network. So education and awareness is extremely critical. Secondly, it's collaboration. It is sharing the data not only within the organization. And thirdly, it is not just the responsibility of the IT or security team, right? So when we talk about protecting data, it is everybody in the company should have a mindset that it is all our responsibility, from the lower level people all the way up to the board of directors and CEOs. Everybody should be mindful of security so that they are able to protect the company's IP. So depending on the industry, I see different industries adopting different technology first because they see potential for that technology, for their industry. For example, recently a shipping company has introduced blockchain to secure their pricing and their contracts that they have all around the world. Right? Surprisingly, it's a shipping company, not a bank, right? Bank has not really rolled out blockchain yet. So I think different industries will look at the different technologies available and see how can I utilize that, to help my business prosper. How do I use it to create better customer experience? How do I use it to create more increase my market share, etc. So I think that all those technologies fuels other technology. If you look at quantum computing, increase in quantum computing fuels big data, right? Big data will fuel, like if you look at the adoption of IoT will fuel artificial intelligence, will fuel robotics, right? So I think they are all linked as well. As you see more companies adopt these technologies, they will just logically move to the next type of technology that can help their businesses. I think we know, right? Every industry is being disrupted. Banks are being disrupted by fintech companies or insurtech companies. Health companies are being disrupted by new biotechnology, wearable devices, right, that can monitor our bodies, 24/7. I think each industry, like the music industry is now, Spotify, right? I think every industry is going through disruption and change, and companies need to look at how they can, embrace the new technology to make their companies more competitive and survive, actually. Right, so they say 25 billion devices in the next 3 years. So again, it depends on the company you're talking to. For example, I'm talking to a electricity company in Thailand. They supply electricity to about 18 million residents in Bangkok. They're changing their analog meters to smart meters. The problem with, and that's because they want efficiency, because otherwise with the analog meters, they have to send someone to read the meter every single house, right? And every single business. So they're changing to smart meters. They are Wi-Fi enabled so that the car will just drive through the street and it will suck in all the meter readings. The problem with that, they get hacked into, right? And so the electricity company is losing money, right? So that's a risk. So we have to work with them to be able to take data in to be able to make sure that those smart meters are protected, right? Because again, when people design the smart meters, they never thought about security. So I think if you look at Toyota in Japan, who are also coming out with a self-driving car, how do I design my car so that if somebody hacks into my car, they have no access to the accelerator, the brakes, or the steering wheel, right? So it's basically creating like two separate systems in the car so that if they hack into the car, they get access to your GPS, they get access to things, but they won't get access to things that potentially can hurt, the passengers in the car. So definitely have to think very differently about how you protect the IoT devices, right? Robotics, company is building a robot for hospitals. They are very strong. They can actually lift up a patient from the bed. Now, what if somebody hacks into that robot? It can do damage because it's actually quite a strong robot. So it's almost treating each robot like a human being with its own identity and make sure that when the robot starts behaving abnormally, we better go and check out, that the robot is okay. So every I think adoption of technology is creating new risk that we now need to come up with a strategy to protect it. Absolutely. So, on my way here, for example, coming through the Dubai airport, right? Not this trip, but previously, somebody was flying drones, right, near the Dubai runway. So they had to shut down the airport because they have to go check what's going on, right? So the airport was shut down for, I can't remember, 70 minutes, right? 70 minutes, planes cannot land. So planes were going round and round. Some planes were told to head back. And I think they calculated the cost. And in the end, it was just some kid playing with his drone near the runway. And it wasn't malicious or anything like that. But that 70 minutes cost Dubai Airport $70 million, right? And it costs a lot of fuel or planes going round and round in circles, and it costs a lot of, backlog because when the planes finally landed, a lot of them miss their transit flights. So it caused a huge problem, right? $70 million. So I think governments have to come up with regulation, for example, for drones, right? So when we first started, invented planes, we created radar systems so that anything over 5 kilometers must be tracked. Every plane must be tracked. That's why you have, towers tracking all the flights, et cetera, et cetera. But anything below 5 kilometers, currently there is no rules and regulation. What is legal, what is not legal. So I think that many governments now need to, scratch their head and work and come up with regulations for things that are flying around below 5 kilometers, right? Because we have the rules for 5 kilometers and above. We don't have any rules for 5 kilometers and below. So we need to come up, with new guidelines, policies, so that people know, right, what they can do with the drones and what they cannot do with the drones.
Quite a challenge.
It is quite a challenge. Well, for example, recently in Australia, if you're in your backyard, you're enjoying the sun, next to your pool, a drone can come and video you. Is that legal or is that illegal to do that, right? Is your privacy being, currently there's no law, to say it's illegal. So they have to come up with new laws to say, no, you can't do that, right? That's illegal. We can fine you if you go around secretly videoing people, in their backyards. So yeah, it is a big problem, and I think that governments and city councils have to come up with new laws so that we know what is right and what is not right.